What do you see as the biggest roadblock for Stellar to become mainstream?
So it's sort of the same roadblock that all crypto projects have, is that they all depend really heavily on network effects. And so actually building that network is the biggest challenge. Yeah, so World Wire is obviously pretty exciting. We've had lots of people approach us, and mainly IBM, about wanting to get on the World Wire platform. We're super excited to have that become live.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Token Topics, a channel all about crypto and blockchain technology. I hope everyone out there is doing well, and the topic of this video is Stellar XLM. It's been a while since I made a Stellar video, so in this video I made it special for Stellar fans, and we're going to take a deep dive into the project, also go back in time to get a better understanding for any newcomers of where we've been and where we're going. I fully believe that everyone in the world will in some way, shape, or form use Stellar. So if you're a crypto or Stellar fan, watch the video all the way to the end and hit the like and subscribe. And remember, I'm not your financial advisor. Any investing's risky. So please be smart, safe, do it at your own risk. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in.
Stellar is a platform that connects banks, payment systems, and people so they can easily move money anywhere in the world. To help make this possible, Stellar has created a cryptocurrency, the Lumen. The Lumen is the native asset of the Stellar network. It serves as a kind of universal translator between each currency. Here's how. Imagine a business in the United States needs to pay a supplier in China. They've got US dollars in their bank account in Kansas City, but they need the payment to show up as Chinese yuan in the supplier's account in Guangzhou. What can they do? They could send money the traditional way via international wire transfer. But that's slow. International wires take several days to clear. Complicated. In many cases, funds move through multiple intermediary banks before reaching their destination. And expensive. Each intermediary takes a percentage of the transaction in fees. As money moves around the world, the fees pile up, and the business in Kansas City loses more and more of its hard-earned cash to unnecessary middlemen, as does the supplier in China. By comparison, what if the business used Stellar? Stellar has a decentralized exchange built right into the protocol. It can route a payment in US dollars through its order books, so it comes out on the other end as Chinese yuan automatically. If there's no good offer to exchange dollars for yuan, lumens act as an intermediary. Stellar simply converts dollars into lumens, and then converts lumens into yuan, all in under 5 seconds, and for a fee of 1/10,000th of a cent. In addition to serving as a universal currency translator, lumens also protect the integrity of the network by preventing spam. Transaction fees are paid in lumens, and every Stellar account has a minimum balance, too. The transaction fees and minimum balance are low enough that legitimate users don't really notice them, but high enough to disincentivize spammers. Lumens are a critical component of the Stellar protocol. They allow it to be efficient, scalable, and they serve as a universal translator for assets. So you can move funds cheaply, but not too cheaply.
Good to see you this morning. My name is Jesse Lund. I'm the VP of Blockchain, really the solutions portfolio for financial services at IBM, which is really the largest segment of IBM's market, financial services. It represents about $30 billion a year revenue, about 40% of the overall client portfolio. Just a little bit of a commercial. We'll get it out of the way really quick for my current employer. IBM's the global leader in enterprise blockchain today. We have over 1,500 professionals working across virtually all industries, 400 plus blockchain projects. We have the world's leading enterprise blockchain platform based on open source, governed by the Hyperledger project, differentiated by cloud, and infrastructure offerings like the Z systems and the Q quantum systems, which are coming soon. We are a 107-year-old company acting like and operating like a startup in the blockchain space. So I feel like the CEO of of a blockchain startup, but backed by an enterprise giant that has over 400,000 employees worldwide in more than 160 countries. We have the experience and credibility to execute. We've built and operated mission-critical systems, transactional systems in virtually all industries for pretty much most of the Fortune 100. If you haven't heard of IBM, you've probably been asleep for a while.
I'm Seema Falke, and I'm one of the lead developers on World Wire project. World Wire, in a general, is a medium to wire the transactions from one financial institute to the other. We use Stellar as our ledger to submit transactions to. Everything is open source on Stellar, so it was very easy resource to learn and understand. I have been using three things in my everyday life when I'm working on Stellar. The first thing is the API documentation, the other thing is the lab, and the third thing is community resource. Documentation is really nicely, neatly done. That has been my Bible for every day. And the other thing is lab. The lab is connected to the test network, which is live. While I was developing, I used this lab as my starting point to construct an example of this transaction and understand how it works successfully and in terms of error conditions. We learn from failures. So anytime the transaction fails, you get the error back, and then you have to understand why it failed. The community is also useful in case if you don't understand why it is failing. Sometimes then you have to go and look for help. IBM has already established many years of trust with financial institutes.
It's unacceptable that there's 2 billion people in the world who don't have access to financial services. It's totally unacceptable. It turns out that with the traditional global payment infrastructure, it's actually more efficient to stuff $10,000 in a FedEx envelope and FedEx it. We should not be FedExing money. That's a terrible idea. But that's why it's so ridiculous that modern technology hasn't provided a way to optimize the movement of money around the world, right? When it becomes more efficient to FedEx cash, something is wrong. It would be awesome if every bank in the world had a correspondent bank account with every other bank in the world, but that's just not realistic. That's not feasible, at least not until now. If everybody is using a distributed ledger, a shared ledger, we now have the capacity to represent bank balances on each other in one system. And that's really where the efficiencies come, as you eliminate these hops, these intermediaries, because now every bank conceptually has a relationship with every other bank in the world. So we built a system that envisions that ultimate outcome. We call that system World Wire. So World Wire is a network of networks that is built on top of the Stellar protocol, which provides a blockchain protocol that is tailored and tuned for the transfer of value and for the store of value through the issuance of many different types of digital assets. We chose Stellar because it has thought about scalability. It's rethought the underlying mechanics, and some of them are quite complex. When you think of distributed computing and consensus algorithms, these are not trivial things. The other benefit of Stellar provides an amazingly simple way to issue digital assets, which is really paramount to the use and the vision behind the World Wire system. Stellar provides a good bridge for us between this purely private network and this completely open Wild West network that we know as Bitcoin, where we can actually create a subnetwork, if you will, where we can enforce certain rules on the participants, but not give up the transparency and the openness of having an open network. Global payments, at least in the markets where we're starting, which is small value, retail, remittance payments, this needs to be open. It needs to be transparent because there's thousands of players who could come to the network and add value. The experience of working with Stellar has been really good and has been very well received. I think there have been a number of iterations or experiments or technologies that have come about since the advent of Bitcoin, since the light bulb went off, and I think Stellar got it right at the right time. Imagine a world where everybody has money. What does that world look like? And a lot of people in the world don't have money, not because they don't have good ideas, but because they don't have access to the networks where the money is exchanged. And that's what we're trying to do, is break those barriers down. So when you combine all of what Stellar does and all of what IBM is trying to do with World Wire, and you put those together, now all of a sudden you have a capability that has the potential to really change the world, to have an impact on humanity, and I think that's really cool.
Hi, my name is Lisa Nestor. I'm the Senior Director for the Stellar Development Foundation, and I'm here today to talk about the launch of USDC on Stellar.
Lisa, let's just pick right up from there. You guys announced in February that you were going to go live with the USDC on the Stellar network. So you get a little bit of running room here. How's it going? Give us an update on how it's going and and where you're headed.
Sure. Well, it has been a really exciting and impactful product launch within our ecosystem, having USDC come on board as a new, important digital asset on the Stellar ledger. So yeah, it's been going really well. I will say, there's been a lot of work kind of in the background, working with various companies, enterprises that use Stellar for things like payments, kind of getting them hooked into USDC as a new asset in their portfolio that they can use. And then also working with kind of the broader market and crypto industry to help facilitate multi-chain access of USDC. So it's a really exciting and valuable tool for companies within the Stellar ecosystem for a number of reasons, which I'm sure we'll dive into. So we've just really been kind of busy making sure that access to the asset is as easy as possible, that we're leveraging the global liquidity of USDC even outside of the Stellar ecosystem, and then just kind of educating and getting companies on board.
In March, MoneyGram ended their partnership with Ripple, but they found a new one. The international payments juggernaut is now partnering with the Stellar Development Foundation to enable seamless conversion between cash and crypto. Joining us now is Alex Holmes, Chairman and CEO of MoneyGram, and Danelle Dixon, CEO and Executive Director of the Stellar Development Foundation. Hi there, Alex and Danelle. So earlier this year, Bloomberg also came out with a report that Stellar was looking to take over MoneyGram. Is this partnership the compromise, Danelle?
I think that we don't comment on those rumors. I knew that we were going to get this question. Most importantly, what we want to talk about is this relationship that we have, which is bringing which is really melding the online, the blockchain world with what MoneyGram has taken years and years to build, which is their agent network, which is pretty phenomenal. And these on-ramps and these off-ramps for the blockchain space, it's a pretty remarkable thing for us to be talking about, to be able to move forward, and we're really excited about this.
Network is making strides toward bridging their protocol with all fiat currencies around the world. Bermuda is anticipating the release of digital Bermuda dollars on the Stellar network. In January, Ukraine announced it was exploring the same. Joining us now to discuss is Danelle Dixon, CEO and Executive Director of the Stellar Development Foundation, a nonprofit that supports the growth of the Stellar network. Welcome, Danelle.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you. All right, Danelle, so tell me more about what is happening in Bermuda and Ukraine. The Bermuda Dollar Project has been underway since 2018. What are the challenges? What are you learning from the pilot?
So the really wonderful thing about both of these projects is that with the Stellar Development Foundation being an open source project, lots of folks can build on the network without even talking to us. And so the Stellar Development Foundation we like to work with people. We're a nonprofit, so we do all of our work for free, and we're happy to contribute and to do what we can. With both of these projects, they have done a lot of work on their own. And what we do is we come in to support on any technological questions that they have, or just, any questions about ecosystem growth and development. And it's just been really nice partnerships that we've seen with respect to these two projects as well as others. So I think what we're going to see is more projects focusing on networks like Stellar, because they are fast. They allow very, very low fees for the developers, and we're bridging this gap between the existing financial system and these new rails. And so
as we see from those clips how remarkable and how hard this team has been working pushing this technology forward. Stellar, just like Ripple, has been behind the scenes, very secretive, forming a full network with IBM World Wire. Their connection with also R3 core to blockchain technology and other distributive ledgers to connect and make full networks. This is why I firmly believe one day everyone will use Stellar in some way, shape, or form. You can see just from the MoneyGram partnership alone that this is the beginning, paving the way. And I want to let my listeners know that they are not in competition with Ripple. It might have seemed that way in the beginning, but this is not the case now. We've actually had high sources such as developers that know how the ecosystem works. They have stated that they are not in competition, that Stellar is going to be more for retail for front end, where Ripple and XRP is going to be more for enterprise back end, and XDC is going to complete global complex trade with smart contract capabilities. Now, I am sure that all those projects do have the capability and ability to have the same functions and features that they have each other, but they each have their use case, is what I'm trying to say. Now, on the topic of the founders, so Jeb McCaleb founded Stellar with lawyer Joyce Kim. That was the lady that you saw, and that was the gentleman that you saw in the beginning. And after leaving Ripple in 2013 over disagreements about the company's future direction and explaining the rationale behind Stellar in September 2020, McCaleb, the whole original design of Stellar is that you have fiat currencies and other kinds of forms of value run parallel with each other and other crypto assets. This is super important to drive this stuff mainstream. And McCaleb's goal is to ensure that Stellar can give people a way of moving their fiat into crypto and eliminate the friction that people normally experience when they are sending money around the world. What makes Stellar unique is the fees that are a sticking point for many. However, high costs when making cross-border payments aren't just exclusive to fiat-based payment solutions such as PayPal. Transaction fees also have been known to go through the roof on the Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains because of congestion. So Stellar is unique because every transaction costs very 0.00001 cent. I'm sorry, 1 XLM. So as you can see there, I'm laughing because that's how cheap it is. So given how a unit of currency only costs a few cents at the time of writing, this helps to ensure that the users keep more of their money. Now, going back in time, this is for any newcomers. Keep in mind any of the stuff that I'm sure a lot of Stellar holders, they already know about this, but there's new people coming into crypto. A lot of big money is coming in, and they're going to want to know where to put their money. So this is from official stellar.org, Ukraine Ministry of Digital Transformation to develop virtual assets and to facilitate central bank digital currency infrastructure with the Stellar Development Foundation. So boom, this is an old article. I'll put this down below so you can check this out. Right there, the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. So right there, partner with the Ukraine government. This is also from stellar.org. I'll put this link down below so you can see all the things that are built on Stellar. So Tala, MoneyGram, Rehive, BitGo, and it just keeps going and going. Stellar Expert. And some of these, as the ecosystem grows, more and more people are going to get into these different technologies too. So the big kicker right there would be MoneyGram. But it just keeps on going and going. And like Ledger Nano and Trezor and all that, this is big. All right, this is the official Stellar Twitter account. I'm going to put the link to this down below and also the link to the main website, stellar.org. And it's a beautiful website. I myself am very much into space and telescopes and I like to look at star clusters and different space objects. So I'm big into the whole space scene. So Stellar makes money better. So Stellar's API and SDKs are ready to help you transform the world of finance, and the network's currency connections could give even a small company the power and reach of an international bank. So here's what you can build with a few lines of code. So right there, even for developers, they made it nice and simple. Awesome. Here's the 2021 roadmap. And you can see, since we're at the end here, we're going to be reaching to 2022 now. This year has gone by quick. I'll put the link to this down below, and I would say that Stellar has been accomplishing their goals. They have been working very hard and doing great work. So, as the blockchain industry matures and more financial use cases develop, central bank digital currencies have been the top of mind for central banks. CBDCs possess the potential to substantially improve the lives of citizens, whether by encouraging innovation in financial services, easing distribution of social benefit payments, bringing safety and security to the unbanked, or more. Thus, central banks have a real opportunity to radically improve the equitable access to financial services through CBDCs. However, central banks need to assess the risk of using technology in order to ensure that their safety of their monetary systems. I'll put the link to this down below so you can read through it, but it just shows you how serious they are building central bank digital currencies. Here's another article that I'm going to put the link in the description below. This is a full list of Stellar XLM partnerships. This is an older article, I understand, but it has great information to any newcomers how big this is, the big names that are on this partnership list. Number 1, IBM. 2, Smartlands. Stripe. HTC Exodus. Frank Templeton. I mean, the list goes on. WireX. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to Token Topics to stay informed on not only Stellar XLM, but other hot cryptocurrencies. Please comment your opinions and thoughts down below. My personal opinion is I believe Stellar is definitely a chosen crypto that's here to stay and revolutionize the world. And as I stated before, everyone will use Stellar. Thanks for watching Token Topics, everyone. Take care.